It's the end of yet another week. Roll on the weekend, but it's Friday night, which means one thing: 50 questions to test your cinema knowledge. We're back. The LA Cinema Film Quiz. We're rolling sound. I think we've got camera and action. February, second week. We're back for the 13th edition of the LA Cinema Film Quiz. I'm your host, James. As I said, we've been here every Friday on the YouTube channel. Thanks for your support. Thanks to everyone that's subscribed over the past few months. Hope you've had a good week. Thanks for joining me. If you're logged into the live chat system, obviously introduce yourselves. Let me know if you played the quiz before, or introduce yourself if you haven't played, and where you're based within the UK or outside of the UK. And we'll explain how tonight will work. We've got more mini reviews for you. There'll be 2 films this evening just to break up the quiz. A little topic of conversation. I'll be asking you a topical question regarding film later on in the program. And of course, 50 questions to test your film knowledge, with all the answers revealed at the end. And we'll find out how you did for the 13th week of the Long Ashton Film Quiz. A couple of people in the house, some regulars. We've got Jay Gibbs, who came in early, sneaked in through the door at 8 o'clock. Good evening to him. We got a round especially for him, testing his knowledge on his favourite subject, European cinema, if only. I got Dave Films back. Good to see you again. Thank you. Bikey Chick, of course. And Shirley Cormish saying, evening, everyone. We'll start the quiz in just a moment. It's the usual format, 10 questions per round. We'll reveal the answers, as I said, at the end. Mark up your scores, and we'll find out if you're a cineast, a big cinema fan with an A+ and a big tick in your book, or maybe bottom of the class for this week. We'll find out your grades later on, but it's all good fun. And here are tonight's topics revealed. Okay, a recommendation from last week. We're going to start round 1 with the late actor and comedian Robin Williams, kicking off round number 1. Number 2, we're moving into the award film season. So we're going to do Oscar-winning songs for round number 2. And thank heavens I won't be singing them this week. Thank God for that. Number 3, we're looking at a genre. It's the science fiction genre for this week. Round number 3. Number 4, I'm liking this round. I enjoyed doing this one, coming up with the questions. A nostalgia trip. Remember them? Cinemas. Round number 4. And lastly, where are they now? Actors, actresses, and child stars. Where do they go? Are they still working in the industry? We'll find out. Round 5 of the quiz. And then at the end, we've got a topic of conversation. I mentioned this last week. I'll be asking you your favorite YouTube related film channels. I've got 2 that I was going to recommend, and we'll be talking a little bit about YouTube, the format I'm using tonight, the platform, and your views and opinions. So good evening, everyone. Hope you enjoy tonight's quiz. Sula joining us yet again. Good to see her back. Thank you for your support. As I said, it's all good fun just to test your film knowledge, take you back on a little bit of a nostalgia trip, make you remember some of those good times at the cinema for various different reasons. The only thing I'll say about tonight, we've got the live chat window. Not to write your answers in that window, because obviously everyone will see them, and we'll reveal all the answers at the end. What's everybody drinking this evening? I've got 2 drinks on the go. I've got my water, keep my throat soothed for this evening. I've got a glass of wine as well, a glass of white wine to keep me oiled and measured up for this evening. Bikey Chick joining me for a glass of white wine. I'm on my usual the Vouvray, no changes there. Okay, everybody ready for round number one in just a minute. Before we kick off, I've got one purchase for this week. No, two little ones. Okay, so I haven't been purchasing so many DVDs of late, to be honest, especially with all the streaming channels at the moment. I kind of don't feel I really need to own so much stuff. So the only things I bought this week were Francis Ford Coppola's re-edit The Godfather Part 3, which I haven't seen for donkey's years. He's re-edited his third and final chapter of the Michael Corleone crime epic trilogy. It's called The Godfather Coda. So I picked that up on a Blu-ray. As I said, it's the weakest film of the three, but I haven't seen it for probably a good 15, 20 years. So I feel I need to revisit it. Looking forward to seeing the new edit, the new restored version. And I do like Coppola. He's a great director, made some prolific films. So the first purchase via good old Amazon again was The Godfather Part 3, but renamed for a new edit called The Godfather Coda. And then I remember that I lent my next door neighbor a box set months ago, and they had it, and I wanted to see these films for a long time. It was a box set I purchased from eBay. It's the director Bong Joon-ho, famous for winning the Academy Award last year, Best Film and Best Director for Parasite. These are 3 films directed by the Korean filmmaker. They include The Host, which is kind of a monster film, on a par with Jaws, according to the box. Mother, and the last one, Barking Dogs Never Bite. So probably watch maybe a couple of these over the next couple of weeks, and I'll let you know what I think, along with The Godfather Coda. Okay, we all ready for round one? We're taking a film actor. Died tragically a couple of years back. It's the late comedian and actor Robin Williams. So we got 10 questions on Robin Williams for the start of week 13 of the LA Cinema Quiz. Here we go. And I'll repeat these as I go along. Good luck, everyone. Hope you enjoy it. Number 1. So Williams won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar in 1998 for his portrayal as a psychologist who aids a student who has a gift for mathematics but needs direction in his life. But can you name me the film? So we're kicking off round one with a Robin Williams round, 10 questions. And we're starting with an Oscar-y one for Best Supporting Actor in 1998. He plays a psychologist who aids a student who has a gift for mathematics but needs direction in his life. But for 1 point, can you tell me the name of the film? Okay, so number 2, we move from film to television. Good evening, Lucy. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us again. Number 2, I want you to name the character Williams played in a popular US comedy television show that ran from 1978 to 1982. In this serial, Williams played an alien who comes to Earth to study his residence and the life of a human woman he boards with. So we move from movie to TV. It's Robin Williams. And this specifically, I'm looking for the character name, not the name of the program. Excuse me. So number 2 again, name the character Williams played in a popular US comedy television series that ran from 1978 to 1982. In this TV series, Williams played an alien who comes to Earth to study his residence and the life of a human woman he boards with. Moving on to number 3, back to Oscars. Williams received an Oscar nomination in a leading role for his role as a maverick teacher, John Keating. He uses poetry to give confidence to his boarding school students in Dead Poets Society. But what year was the film released? So for this one, I'm looking for the original release date of the film, not the specific date, but the year it was released. It's Robin Williams receiving an Oscar nomination in the leading role, playing Maverick teacher John Keating in the film Dead Poets Society. But I'm looking for the year it was originally released, cinematic release. Mr. Harlequin joining us this evening, him and Amanda. We barely made it. Good to see you both. I hope you've had a good week. Okay, number 4, round number 1. Williams co-stars with actor Jeff Bridges in the 1991 film The Fisher King, about a former radio DJ who finds redemption in helping a deranged homeless man. But name the film's director. So we did a round a couple of weeks ago on the great Jeff Bridges. He was round number 1. An opening round this week, Robin Williams, but co-starred with Jeff Bridges in the 1991 film The Fisher King. But I'm specifically looking for the name of the director of the film. Film in question, The Fisher King, released way back in 1991, the beginning of the 90s decade. What memories? Okay, so we can move from a director now to a character name for question number 5. Here we go. Name the character Williams voices in the classic Disney animation Aladdin. So Williams kind of stole the show with this Disney adaptation, and a fine adaptation in the 90s of Aladdin. But tell me the name of the character that Williams voices in this classic film animation, and it's Aladdin. It's number 5. So character name, now to a co-star in a film in the 90s for number 6. Okay, here we go. Question number 6. Name the American actress Williams co-stars alongside in the 1993 comedy Mrs. Doubtfire. She plays the part of his former wife, Miranda Hillard. So the actress plays the character name Miranda Hillard. She's the ex-wife of Williams in the comedy film Mrs. Doubtfire. But I'm looking for the American actress that co-stars with him in the film. Remember seeing that film at the cinema? Oh, it feels like decades ago, a long time ago. I think Pierce Brosnan was in it, wasn't he? He played the love interest of his ex-wife that she left him for. As we move on to number 7. Williams co-stars with Robert De Niro in which acclaimed Penny Marshall drama about a doctor trying to revive a patient from an epidemic several years prior with a new drug. Good little film, this one, released at the beginning of the 90s. So Williams co-stars with Robert De Niro in which acclaimed Penny Marshall drama about a doctor trying to revive a patient from an epidemic several years prior with a new drug. So I'm looking for the name of that film, released in 1990. Couple more left. 10 questions on Robin Williams, the opening round of tonight. This one is probably the trickiest question. Get your thinking caps on. Here we go. Number 8. Williams tragically died at the age of 63 on August the 11th, 2014. His final acting credit was voicing Dennis the dog, in which Terry Jones directed comedy starring Simon Pegg and Kate Beckinsale. So this was Williams' final film credit. He tragically died on August the 11th, 2014. And in this particular film, he voiced Dennis the dog in the Terry Jones comedy, and it starred Simon Pegg and Kate Beckinsale. But for 1 point, I'm looking for the name, the title of that particular movie. 2 more left. We move on to number 9. We go back to 1982, nearly 40 years ago. We get back in our TARDIS. Here we go. Name the 1982 comedy drama starring Williams as a struggling young writer who finds his life and work dominated by his unfaithful wife and his radical feminist mother, whose best-selling work turns her into a cultural icon. The film co-stars Glenn Close and John Lithgow, but I'm looking for the name, the title of this 1982 drama. So number 9 again. Name the 1982 comedy drama starring Williams as a struggling young writer who finds his life and work dominated by his unfaithful wife and his radical feminist mother, whose best-selling work turns her into a cultural icon. And the film co-stars Glenn Close and the actor John Lithgow. And the last one to finish off our opening round for this evening is question number 10. Williams plays which famous cartoon hero in a 1980 live-action version directed by Robert Altman and co-starring Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl? Nice and simple. I actually visited the set that this film was made. It was actually filmed in Malta, of all places. You can visit the set if you ever go there on vacation. It's a lovely place to visit. The sets are pretty incredible, made of wood. But number 10 again, Williams plays which famous cartoon hero in a 1980 live-action version directed by Robert Altman and co-starring Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl? So we're down with 10. Dave already pipping me at the post. A good round. He thinks he got 10 out of 10 for round number 1. John saying he's been to the set. I think, is it in the capital of Malta? I went there as a child. It was a long time ago. I went back there twice. I personally thought the set was better than the film. I haven't seen the film for quite some time. A prolific director, Robert Altman, but I'm not sure he got that film particularly right. How did everyone fare with Robin Williams, our opening round? And if you need any shouting out at all, just let me know and I can repeat them, not a problem at all. 6 out of 10 for Mr. Gibbs, he thinks. Also got a couple of mini reviews for you this evening. 2 films I've watched this week and I'll share my verdicts on them. Both English-speaking films this week. One a documentary, one a classic film drama from the 1970s. Mr. Harlequin, again a little bit doubtful. We think maybe an 8. A couple of guesses for Bikey Chick, but we've got 10 answers. A couple of guesses along the way. We'll move on shortly to round number 2. I don't know where I put my DVDs tonight. Oh, losing the plot. Too much wine, maybe. Okay, what we got for round number 2 for you tonight? Be another 10 questions. Okay, Oscar-winning songs. This was again a recommendation from last week. I think this may have been Mr. Harlequin and Amanda that recommended this round. Luckily, no singing this week, but a couple of questions with some bonus points related to Academy Award winning songs. You ready? Here we go. Round number 2. Okay, so for question number 1, I'm looking for the performer and the composer, which are the same person, and the name of the film the song features in. Okay, so 2 points on offer, 1 point for each. Here we go. Okay, a popular computer animated comedy from Pixar released in 2001. That's your clue. And the Oscar winning song is If I Didn't Have You. So the song that won the Oscar is called If I Didn't Have You. That's the title. And the clue is a popular computer animated comedy from Pixar released in 2001. So I'm looking for the name of the film from that clue and the name of the performer who performed the song If I Didn't Have You. So 2 points on offer. 3 points on offer for question number 2. So the clue is a 1961 romantic comedy. The Oscar-winning song Moon River, but name the 2 songwriters, so the composers, and the movie. So 3 points on offer for number 2, a point for each, obviously. And I'm looking for the Oscar-winning song Moon River, features in a 1961 iconic romantic comedy. Can you tell me the name of the composers, the duo, it's 2 people, and the film it features in? So 3 answers altogether for number 2. Luckily, no singing this evening. I've got a sore throat. You'll have sore ears if I start singing as well, but no singing tonight. Number 3 now. Name the iconic actress who sings the Oscar-winning song Over the Rainbow in 1939 and the film it features in. Nice and simple, such an iconic Hollywood performer, very tragic figure as well, and such an iconic movie. Brilliant family film. But name the iconic actress who sings the Oscar-winning song Over the Rainbow in 1939 and name the film it features in. For number 4, just one answer, so 1 point on offer. Oscar-winning songs, remember. Number 4, name the composer who won the Academy Award for the theme from Shaft in 1971. So 50 years ago, amazingly, 1971 is the year, but I'm looking for the composer who won the Academy Award for the music known as the theme from Shaft in 1971. So the film obviously was Shaft with Richard Roundtree, but who was the composer of the song theme from Shaft? Classic instrumental score. Number 5, we're halfway through the round. Okay, 1 point on offer for this one, so 1 answer only. The Oscar-winning song When You Wish Upon a Star features in which Disney release from 1940? So we're going back to the 1940s, the start of the decade. Have a sip of my wine. And I'm looking for a song. Well, I'm looking for the name of the film. Specifically, the Oscar-winning song When You Wish Upon a Star features in which Disney release from 1940? That is number 5. Number 6, we got 3 points on offer. So 3 answers I'm looking for number 6. Here we go. Name the songwriting duo who wrote the song Can You Feel the Love Tonight and name the 1994 film it's featured in. So probably the other song is probably more famous. I won't give you the name of that song because it probably give it away straight away, but I'm looking for the songwriting duo. So 2 people who wrote the song Can You Feel the Love Tonight and name the 1994 film it's featured in. Couple more left to end tonight's round number 2 on Academy Award winning songs. For number 7, I'm looking for 2 answers to this one. Here we go. Who was the first hip hop artist to win an Oscar for his song Lose Yourself, and name the 2002 film he appears in? This is a film, sadly, I've never seen. I do like the director, Curtis Hanson, and I've heard very good things about it. But I'm looking for the name of the 2002 film and the song Lose Yourself, performed by which hip hop artist, the first to win an Oscar, for number 7. Number 8 now, I'm looking for an iconic American singer-songwriter who won an Oscar for his 2000 song, Things Have Changed. And also name me the film that song features in. Number 8. It's a good little film as well. I've not seen it in a hell of a long time. Good song as well. So which iconic American singer-songwriter won the Oscar for his song Things Have Changed in the year 2000, and name the film it features in? Moving on to number 9. One answer for this one. Another iconic American singer-songwriter. Here's the question. Number 9. Which iconic American songwriter won the Academy Award for his 1993 song Streets of Philadelphia, from the film Philadelphia, of course? Really good song. I like the video to this one. Kind of got it in my mind now, seeing him walking along Philadelphia urban streets, singing the song. One of my favorites. Fortunate to see this legend on stage, and his gig's certainly gone on and on for a long, long time. I think Noel Gallagher once said that he performed at the same festival and said he came off stage, went and had a shower, went and had a 3-course meal, and he was still performing on stage. So that could be a big clue. But which singer-songwriter, American-born, won the Academy Award for his song Streets of Philadelphia in 1993 from the movie Philadelphia? And lastly, number 10, final one from round number 2. 2 points on offer for this one. Name the 2 composers who won an Oscar for the song My Heart Will Go On from the 1997 film Titanic. So for this one, I'm not looking for the performer. We know the performer, Celine Dion. I'm looking for the 2 composers that wrote the song. The song, of course, is My Heart Will Go On, an Academy Award-winning song from the 1997 film Titanic. Who are they? 2 points on offer. So that's your 10 questions for round number 2. How did you fare on your Academy Award-winning songs? Did you have the tunes in your head? Were you dancing on your feet, maybe? How did you score, do you think? Predicted scores for round number 2. And if you need any shouting back out, do let me know. And then we'll move on for our first review of tonight. What was the first film I watched this week? It was a film I watched on Blu-ray, not on one of the streaming channels. And it's a documentary music film to start off with. So predicted scores for round number 2. How did you get on? Yeah, Mr. Harlequin asking for me to do number 1 again. Not a problem. Here was number 1. So 2 answers on offer. So 2 points on offer. Okay, so the clue is a popular computer animated comedy from Pixar released in 2001. The song is the Oscar-winning song If I Didn't Have You, but I'm looking for the composer who's also the performer of the song and the film it features in. So I'm looking for the composer, performer, and the film. So 2 answers. Anyone else need any repeating for number 2? Not too bad. Missed your singing. Oh, my singing is dreadful. Playing back the videos, I sometimes look back at the videos the day after, um, just to kind of see your suggestions and just kind of have a look back out of interest. And oh, hearing that voice, I kind of cringe. I think, why did put myself through that? Shockingly, 4 if I'm lucky, says Jay, for round 2. Maybe he'll pick up the pace in round number 3 on Italian neorealism. I like pulling his leg. Jamie's a good friend of mine, Jay, and he's constantly pulling my leg about world cinema. I'll tell you a silly little story later on, if I remember, about world cinema, where I managed to fool my mum about something that I thought was quite funny back in the day. I do like my European cinema, as you know. Pretty good, saying Bikey Chick, a few guesses along the way. And Mr. Harlequin, didn't think we did massively well on that one. Okay, we'll have a little break from the quiz for just a moment, and I'll do a little review. It may be a film you might want to check out, maybe not. I always like a documentary, and sometimes, to be honest, these days I prefer seeing real life documentary film to fiction. I think life can be stranger than fiction. I think it can be more interesting than fiction. And I went with one of my icons. I'm a big fan of this guy. I love his music. For me, he's one of the great pioneers of rock and roll popular music. It's a documentary feature on Chuck Berry, the 1950s rock and roll singer-songwriter, legend, I guess you call him. It's simply entitled Chuck Berry, and it's a film by a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker I'd never heard of, by the name of John Brewer. So this is the synopsis for the film Chuck Berry. It's the second documentary feature produced on Berry. The first one was Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll, made to celebrate Chuck's 60th birthday by Helen Mirren's husband, Taylor Hackford, and they had big problems making the film with Berry. This is a film that was made after Berry's death. So it's a documentary film on the life and career of the 1950s rock and roll pioneer, Chuck Berry, told by his relatives and his friends. And it lasts just under the 2-hour mark. I got to be honest, I've seen Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll, which I quite like. And I really enjoyed this documentary. I know a lot about Chuck Berry. I've read a lot of books. Fortunate enough to see him on stage as a young boy. I kind of felt I knew it all. But the thing I kind of liked about this film, it did go into Berry's checkered past, and it tried to come up with a summary and explanation about some of his exploits off the stage that I found quite interesting. He married his young sweetheart, very young in life, in his 20s. He was married for all of his life for 70 years. According to his children, he was very much a devoted father figure and a very good father figure in the home. But outside, when he was on tour, he was interested in women. Exploits got him into so much trouble with the law. He was put inside at the peak of his career, only to return in the 1960s with some of his best songs. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good documentary film. It was interesting. I think it showed someone who was a great artist, particularly as this lyricist. I think Berry was just really good at tapping into that teenage market. And it was interesting to find out the enigma with the man, the way he was treated, being a black musician in the 50s. Overall, a good film, this one. If you like rock and roll music, a good film. There's some good people featured in it, talking about Berry, some of his contemporaries. Someone saying something about music. Your singing was very good. You're trying to be too nice. Not as good a singer as this man. So Chuck Berry was my first review of this week. If you can get a hold of it, I don't know if it's on any of the streaming platforms. It's a good documentary film. It's good, worth a watch. gets a thumbs up from me. So that's film number one. We'll go back to the quiz. Where were we? Round number three. What is our third round tonight? We've got a genre. We got sci-fi films. You ready for 10 questions on sci-fi? Here we go. We go with question number one, as Dave says he loves Chuck Berry. Yeah, whether you like the man's music or not, he's such a pioneer. The simplicity of the music. He went on to influence so many people with his great lyrics. Probably wouldn't have had the Beatles, the Stones, who pretty much cribbed all of his back catalogue, the Kinks. They all stole it from Chuck Berry. Number one, round number three. So name the 2018 sci-fi film directed by Claire Denis and starring Robert Pattinson and Juliette Binoche. It's about a father and his daughter who struggle to survive in deep space, where they live in isolation. I saw this film a couple of years back. Saw it at the cinema. I got to be honest, I quite enjoyed this film. I thought it was quite good, quite an arty film. So I'm looking for a 2018 sci-fi film directed by Claire Denis and starring Robert Pattinson and Juliette Binoche. It's about a father and his daughter who struggle to survive in deep space, where they live in isolation. That is number one. I remember at work chatting to a girl at work about this film. She'd seen it and liked the film, and we had a conversation about it, and she was saying she particularly liked one scene, and when she spoke about the scene, I was a little bit embarrassed because it is the most erotic sexual scenes I've seen in a film, and I kind of thought, why are you telling me this? It's a little bit awkward. Number two, name the Oscar-winning director mentioned earlier on, who won an Oscar for directing Parasite in 2019 with the acclaimed 2013 sci-fi movie Snowpiercer, which stars Chris Evans, Jamie Bell, and Tilda Swinton. So I'm looking for the director's name. I got a feeling someone told me, didn't they do a TV adaptation of this one on Netflix recently? The film's called Snowpiercer. Came out in 2013, an acclaimed sci-fi film. It's directed by the same director who won the Oscar for Parasite in 2019. And I'm looking for the name of that director. Number three now, science fiction films. Name the 2009 science fiction movie directed by Neil Blomkamp and about an extraterrestrial race forced to live in a slum-like conditions on Earth. You find a kindred spirit in a government agent. This was quite a popular sci-fi film when it came out in 2009. Excuse me. I remember seeing this one at the cinema, and I struggled with this film. I've only seen it the once, but it's quite highly rated. So for number three, I'm looking for a 2009 science fiction movie directed by Neil Blomkamp. And it's about an extraterrestrial race forced to live in a slum-like conditions on Earth. You find a kindred spirit in a government agent. So we go from a 2009 film and we turn the clock back to 1979. And this is a world cinema film. So number four, name Andrei Tarkovsky's acclaimed 1979 sci-fi drama about a guide who leads two men through an area known as the Zone to find a room that grants wishes. Terrific film. If you tuned into the quiz each week, this was a recommendation, probably going back to the summer now. I was banging on quite a lot about Andrei Tarkovsky and his work. But for number four, name Andrei Tarkovsky's acclaimed 1979 sci-fi drama about a guide who leads two men through an area known as the Zone to find a room that grants wishes. The other sci-fi film he made that people sort of highly acclaim is Solaris, which is on my list to watch. Might do it tomorrow. We'll see. Number 5 now. Name the Hollywood star who plays a special police detective framed for murder in Steven Spielberg's Minority Report. So we move from a world cinema film to a Hollywood superstar. And for number 5, name the Hollywood star who plays a special police detective framed for murder in Steven Spielberg's Minority Report. So we're over halfway through on the round. For number 6, we got 2 points on offer. So indeed, two answers for number 6. Here we go. Excuse me. Name the actor who plays a brilliant but eccentric scientist named Seth Brundle, who was transformed into a giant man, fly hybrid, David Cronenberg's The Fly. But for the bonus point, name the actress who plays Veronica Quaife, his love interest. This is a good film from the sci-fi genre by David Cronenberg, but I'm looking for the actor who plays a brilliant but eccentric scientist who's transformed into a giant man or a fly hybrid, David Cronenberg's The Fly. And for the second point, name the actress who plays Veronica Quaife, his love interest. That's number 6. Number 7, I've got one, complete the title. So I'm going to give you a little clue, and then the start of the title, I just want you to finish it off, nice and simple. So complete this title of a sci-fi remake from 1978 starring Donald Sutherland. Invasion of the blank blank. What could that be? Nice and simple. Do like Donald Sutherland, very prolific in the 70s decade, but complete the title of the sci-fi remake from 1978 starring Donald Sutherland. Invasion of the something. 3 more left in this round as we look at sci-fi films. Number 8 now. Name the actor who plays Officer Murphy and RoboCop in Paul Verhoeven's dystopic 1987 sci-fi movie RoboCop. Still a favourite of mine all these years on. Remember seeing it back in the day, and oh, what a violent film it really was. Watching it back then, probably still holds up now. Really good satirical film on kind of consumer society. Great film. But name the actor who plays Officer Murphy in RoboCop in Paul Verhoeven's 1987 sci-fi movie RoboCop. So we go from the 80s to a classic science fiction film from 1927. But what could it be? Number 9 then. Name Fritz Lang's sci-fi masterpiece from 1927, set in a futuristic city, sharply divided between the working class and city planners, and about the son of the city's mastermind who falls in love with a working class prophet. Looking for number 9 for the title of the film. So I'll repeat number 9 again. It's a Fritz Lang sci-fi masterpiece from 1927. Set in a futuristic city, divided between the working class and city planners. It's about the son of the city's mastermind who falls in love with a working class prophet. What is the film? And for number 10, we're going to take a sci-fi masterpiece, but on this occasion, I'm looking for The Novelist. It's a film adaptation. So number 10, Stanley Kubrick. His science fiction masterpiece 2001: A Space Odyssey is based on a novel by which British novelist, well known for writing on sci-fi, but Stanley Kubrick's sci-fi masterpiece 2001 A Space Odyssey is an adaptation from a novel by which novelist? That is your final question for round number 3. How did we all get on with sci-fi? Do you like your sci-fi movies? Have we got any big science fiction fans? Whether you're into science fiction novels as well, what's your take on the genre? How did you fare? An A plus for tonight, or not so good on your science fiction genre films? Dave saying something. I mentioned Chuck Berry, Never Can Tell from Pulp Fiction, that iconic dance scene. James, the best name as a villain ever. Dave sent a few of this round, but not brilliant. So he doesn't think he's got a top score. We'll see how you do at the end. Mr. Harlequin saying, we think we did well on that one. I'll have to admit, a bit of a sci-fi geek in my youth. It's good to know. Hopefully a 10. Fingers crossed, touch wood from Bikey Chick. We'll move on to round number 4 in just a minute. If you need any repeating again, just let me know. Not a problem at all. I can read them out. My favorite round tonight is actually round number 4. It is going to be on cinemas. It's familiar territory for me. I work in cinemas. I've worked in cinema for probably the past 7 or 8 years now. I work as a manager for a big corporate multiplex cinema chain that sadly haven't been open much in the last 12 months. In fact, I haven't been into work at all in nearly 12 months for obvious reasons that we all know. Lucy saying maybe a 6. Don't mind a bit of sci-fi, she's saying. So cinema round. We all fondly have great memories of cinema, some of our favourite films projected onto the silver screen. But we kind of have fond memories of cinema for different reasons, don't we? Could mark maybe the first films we saw as a child, maybe the first films we took our kids to, maybe a film we took our future wife to, or a date night, all kinds of reasons. So we're going to get nostalgic. Cinemas, round number 4. Here we go. Number 1. Name the UK cinema chain established in the UK in the late 1980s and rebranded to View in 2003. So this was a cinema chain that was running for a number of years, and they were bought out by View Cinemas. But what were they originally called? So name the UK cinema chain established in the UK in the late 1980s, and they were rebranded to View in 2003. That's your first question. Again, 10 questions in this round. So we move on to number 2. Which famous British cinema advertising company was founded in 1953 and controls advertising at many UK cinema sites, including multiplex operators such as Empire, Cineworld and AMC? And I love the little ident at the beginning. I always find that music so catchy. But for number 2, cinema round, which famous British cinema advertising company were founded in 1953 and control advertising at many UK cinema sites, including multiplex operators such as Empire, Cineworld and AMC? Okay, for number 3, I'm looking for 2 answers to this one. So 2 points on offer. Here we go. Name the current 2-for-1 cinema campaign, which offers members a whole year of free cinema tickets on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But for a bonus point, name the original campaign scheme offering 2-for-1 cinema tickets that ended in 2015. So originally they had this campaign that ended and it was taken over by a new one that still exists. So for question 3, name the current 2-for-1 cinema campaign, which offers members a whole year of free cinema tickets on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But for a bonus point, name the original campaign scheme that offered 2-for-1 cinema tickets that ended in 2015. I remember when these offers took place, working in cinemas, it would be the busiest night of the week, everybody coming in with their little codes on their mobile phones. They'd have them on. And then sometimes the codes wouldn't work and you'd get such an earful. I don't have to politely say, it's not our fault. Jay saying he's singing the tune in his head. Which one? The advertising company. I love that tune. Number 4. This is familiar to me for several reasons. You'll get why. Which UK multiplex cinema company offers members discounted cinema prices and loyalties with their insider card? So you do a promotional thing, you get this card called the insider card, you get discounted cinema prices and loyalty points, but name the cinema company that adopt that system, that card, that promotion. Sounds like I'm doing some free advertising for them and getting a backhander. I can assure you I'm not. Honest. But number 4, which UK multiplex cinema company offers members discounted cinema prices and loyalties with their insider card? They also got the guy, I'm trying to think of his name, doing the campaign, the advert. He was Avid Marion in Bow Selector. Keith Lemon. Apparently he's a big fan of the chain and goes to one of their sites. I'm not sure which one. Number 5 now. We're going to look at confectionery now. Which American ice cream company sells their products at a number of major cinema chains? And flavors include Fish Food, Chunky Monkey, and Cherry Garcia. So I'm looking for an American ice cream company for question 5. They sell their products at a number of major cinema chains, and their flavors include Fish Food, Chunky Monkey, and Jerry Garcia. Tell me the name of the brand. Move on to number 6 now. Round number 4 tonight, getting all nostalgic down memory lane with cinemas. The name Timothy Richards is associated with the UK cinema industry. What is his position in the UK cinema industry? Well, there's a slight irony in this question because it changed today because he was appointed head of the British Film Institute, but I'm not looking for that. He's well known and associated in the UK cinema industry, but tell me in which position in the industry. What is his job role? What is his title? Timothy Richards. We're going to move on to 7. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of questions. I think you're going to enjoy these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little ident. And the question is, which UK cinema chain used this music ident at the beginning of their cinema program in the 1980s? You ready for this? Hopefully you can hear this loud and clear. So which cinema chain used this before the main feature presentation in the 1980s? Nice. Do you want to hear it again? I can remember seeing this, literally as a kid. Remember this in the 80s? But this music was used before the main feature by a cinema company. Which company? It was in the 1980s, is the clue. Let's roll that one again. Shame I can't share the visuals. It would give it away straight away, but Jay made me smile saying awesome. Love the neon lights on the logo as well. That's a big clue. Right, here's the next one. So for next one, we've got another music clip. So which dominant UK cinema chain, again in the 80s and early 90s, used this ident music? I love this one. We played it before. 3, 2, 1, action. Oh, that brings back some good old memories. Do you want to hear it again? So, a big cinema chain in the UK. They also made their own films as well, famously. They used this particular music with their branding logo. Here we go again. Second time. Name the company. I did smile when I played that for the second time because it came up with the logo and it said interval. You never get any intervals now, do we, at cinemas? God, back in the day. Dave saying absolutely love it. Yeah, I must admit, it does bring a little bit of a tear to the eye. Or fond memories. Here's the last one now. This one probably a little bit more trickier. Which UK cinema chain, for number 9, used this intro music as part of their cinema titles again in the 80s decade? Here we go. Let's fire this one up. There it is, second time. Saying late night show this Saturday. Ask for details in the foyer. Okay, so looking for the cinema chain that used that music title sequence. Obviously, you couldn't see the visuals in the 1980s. And the last one, a famous cinema now, number 10. Name the famous London cinema, now a live music venue, which opened its doors in 1920 under the name the King's Cross Cinema. The cinema closed its doors in 1993 after bankruptcy and were also sued by Warner Brothers for showing A Clockwork Orange when the film was withdrawn from UK distribution. This is a famous cinema. I know Amanda will get this one straight away. It's a London cinema. It famously closed down in the early 90s. And the chief programmer got in big trouble, a court appearance. They were going to show a mysterious film. They didn't announce what film it was. They showed A Clockwork Orange when it was withdrawn from release. The cinema would go bankrupt. They wrote a book on them as well. She published a book. I think her name's Jane Giles. But named the famous cinema, London cinema. Great programs. Back in the day. Okay, Enjoyed that round. I got to be honest. I enjoyed doing that round from a nostalgic point of view. Dave jumping on the bandwagon saying, I remember queuing during intervals for ice cream during the 80s. And then when you got to the front, they had ran out. Yeah, I used to love that ice cream cart. I saw one of those in the Bristol Museum, the M Shed. They got one of the carts that they put around their neck with a strap. All good fun, all good nostalgia. If you want any repeating for that round, just shout out any of the questions. How do you think you fared with your cinemas? We've not been to the cinema in such a long time, or when we have, it's been fleetingly when they've been open in the last couple of months. Jay was saying to me just the other day, one of the things he misses the most is going with me or some of his mates to the cinema. I got to be honest, I miss it. I always love watching a good film in the cinema because I can escape. I can switch this off. Like dark room. I can just concentrate on the film. No disturbances. I think it relocated. Is a good question. Was it in King's Cross? I think it relocated. It's now a nightclub venue. Really famous cinema. They do a kind of a yearly program where community cinemas set up under the name. Jane Giles was one of the programmers, wrote a book on it. A book I ordered and it never arrived. Got lost in the post. Yeah, great to escape life. Okay, so we'll move on to the penultimate round in just a minute. Finish off tonight's quiz and then we'll give you the answers and a little topic of conversation. But my second film of the week. Okay, I'm ashamed to say, I'm a huge film buff because I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't. But there are some great films that I kind of feel ashamed never to have seen. Never seen Gone with the Wind, and I call myself a film fan, a buff. I've never seen Dr. Zhivago, and I've never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've had this for a long time on Blu-ray, and I've been meaning to sit down and watch it. So I did. It's the second film I watched this week. Watch this Blu-ray copy. Very nice indeed. If you don't know it, which I imagine you all know it, here's a synopsis. It's directed by Milos Forman, who won Best Film. I think it won Best Director as well. He also won Best Film and Director for Amadeus, so a successful career. It stars the great Jack Nicholson, who won the Oscar for Best Actor. Louise Fletcher, who also took home the Academy Award, deservingly so. Danny DeVito, Christopher Lloyd, and Scatman Crothers, just to name some of the cast members. So a criminal pleads insanity and is admitted to a mental institution where he rebels against the oppressive nurse and rallies up the scared patients. Well, I've got to say that this film did not disappoint one bit. It's a great film. I expect you've all seen it. All the actors, even the supporting players, are all good in their roles. Danny DeVito's good. Christopher Lloyd's good. They're all good. Jack Nicholson is exceptional, as he always was, particularly back in the 70s, with a string of films like Five Easy Pieces and Chinatown, and this one probably deservedly won the Oscar. He was so good in that decade. Thought Louise Fletcher was a standout as the nurse of the ward who tries to restore order. I found it particularly interesting. I could engage with it a lot because my dad was in a psychiatric hospital about 6-7 years ago, and I'd spent time visiting my dad and mixing with some of the patients. So I found it interesting from that perspective. There's some really funny scenes in this, particularly when Jack Nicholson brings his ladies in and sneaks them into the institution for some of the patients to have some fun with them. And also there's a bit where they steal a bus and escape on a boat and go fishing. And Jack again gets up to no good with some of his lady friends. There's also some kind of sadder scenes with the patients with their mental incapacities, and also a suicidal scene at the end with one of the young inmates. I thought it was a really, really good film. I really enjoyed it. Some cracking performances. Um, and I love films from the 70s. So, yeah, highly recommended. And I suspect you have all seen this one. Lucy Hawkins saying that is my favorite film. Don't say anything bad. No, I wouldn't. I love 70s films. I think the thing that topped me for this is this moments of sadness and its moments of comedy. And as I said, having been in a psychiatric hospital, which was a big ordeal for me, seeing my dad in them, you do meet some interesting characters, some very, very clever people. And sometimes you question your own insanity when you speak to some of these people, because they come across as they're just normal human beings. It really is interesting. Lucy saying apparently when the Indian offered juicy fruit, Jack didn't know he was going to speak, and the surprise is real. So some good improvisation. And I do like Milos Forman as a director. I need to sit down and watch Amadeus, another film I've not seen. Okay, so we move on from a film, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I believe caused a lot of controversy because Michael Douglas was the producer and Saul's Ants, they won the Oscar, and Kirk Douglas wanted the role. His dad, I think he played him in the play version. And when they did the film, Michael said, no, we're going to cast Nicholson. And I think that caused some animosity. Always does with family, doesn't it? Round number 5. This is an interesting round. We move from cinema nostalgia to actors, actresses, child stars. Where are they now? So I'm going to give a description of a person, and I want you to tell me who they are. There's some clues in there and 10 questions again. Good luck on this one. Hope you enjoy it. Same here, Shirley. Oh, okay, sorry. Saying you've never seen it. Yeah, give it a watch. It's a brilliant film. Jay and Shirley, you'll enjoy it. Really good. Okay, number 1. Name the American 80s star who was born in 1962 and most known as a member of the Brat Pack. He played Blaine in Pretty in Pink, Larry Wilson in Weekend at Bernie's, and Jonathan Switcher in Mannequin. What was that song in Mannequin? No One's Gonna Stop Us Now. So I'm looking for a star in the 80s decade, but born in 1962. And he's known most famously as a member of the Brat Pack. The characters he played are Blaine in Pretty in Pink, Larry Wilson in Weekend at Bernie's, and Jonathan Switcher in Mannequin. Who am I? Number 2 now. This is a tricky one. A child star. Most famous as a child actress in the 1990s. She was born in July 1987 and most famous for playing Matilda in the Roald Dahl film adaptation with the same name, and the young child in the 1994 film version of Miracle on 34th Street. Who is she? So for 2, I'm looking for a child actress, famous in the 90s, but born in 1987. She's younger than me. Most famous for playing Matilda in Roald Dahl's film adaptation of Matilda. And she plays the young girl in the 1994 remake of Miracle on 34th Street. Who is she? Don't know if she's still acting. I presume she is. Probably doing a lot of TV stuff now. Number 3 now. I think Dave will get this one. Name the actor who started his career at the age of 13, appearing in a number of notable films in the 1980s. He played Mouth in The Goonies, Teddy Deschamps in Stand By Me, Edgar Frog in The Lost Boys, and Pete Fontaine in Gremlins. So again, another child actor, starting his career very young at the age of 13, and appearing in a number of notable films from the 80s. He played Mouth in The Goonies, Teddy Deschamps in Stand By Me, Edgar Frog in The Lost Boys, and Pete Fontaine in Gremlins. Who is he? Number 4, we move from a young child actor to a female star, mainly famous in the 90s. Here we go, number 4. I'm looking for an actress popular in the 1990s. She played Catherine Banning in the 1999 remake of The Thomas Crown Affair, Kate Mullen in Ransom, and Lorna Cole in Lethal Weapons 3 and 4. She got mentioned a couple of weeks ago on the quiz. She was a big star in the 90s, attractive woman. You don't really see her much now. I presume she'd probably be in her mid to late 50s now. Popular in the 90s, played Catherine Banning in the remake of The Thomas Crown Affair, Kate Mullen in Ransom with Mel Gibson, and Lorna Cole again teamed up with Gibson in Lethal Weapons 3 and 4. Who is the actress? Halfway through now, we go back to the 80s again. I'm looking for the brother of a famous Hollywood actress. He received an Oscar nomination for his role in Runaway Train. He was the Coca-Cola Kid in 1985 and Paulie in The Pope of Greenwich Village. So number 5 again, I'm looking for the brother of a famous Hollywood actress. He received an Oscar nomination for his role in Runaway Train. He played the Coca-Cola Kid in 1985 and Paulie in The Pope of Greenwich Village. Who is he? Funny enough, I actually worked with a guy on a TV show, kind of name dropping a bit, who actually made a film with him in. And Mickey Rourke was actually in the film with him. And I ain't going to say much more because the film is shockingly bad. But yeah, he worked with them, which I thought was kind of crazy. Number 6, I'm looking for the wife of Kevin Kline since 1989. She was Kate Beringer in Gremlins 1 and 2 and co-starred with comedian Rick Mayall in Drop Dead Fred. She pretty much retired from acting, this actress. The final film was called Princess Caribou, I think. She's the wife of Kevin Kline. They've been married since 1989. And she played Kate Beringer in Gremlins 1 and Gremlins 2, The New Patch, and co-starred with comedian Rick Mayall in Drop Dead Fred. But who is she? Number 7's a tricky one, but if you're a Back to the Future connoisseur, you probably get this one. Okay, so she played Marty McFly's loyal girlfriend, Jennifer Parker, in Back to the Future, and starred in the television adaptation of Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1986. But who is she? Interesting career, this woman. She starred in a big Hollywood hit film, Back to the Future, and pretty much didn't do a lot after, sadly. But number 7, she played Marty McFly's loyal girlfriend, Jennifer Parker, in Back to the Future, and starred in the TV adaptation of Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1986. But who is she? Number 8, we're staying with the 80s again. I'm looking for a male star now. Somebody who retired from acting for a long time. Here we go. I'm looking for a film comedian popular in the 80s decade for his roles as Nathan in Parenthood, the Dark Helmet in Spaceballs, and this will give it away, Louis Tully in Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. So male actor, he was out of acting for a long time. He spent his time looking after his children, away from acting. He's a popular comedian actor from the 80s. His roles include Nathan in Parenthood, co-starring with Steve Martin, The Dark Helmet in Spaceballs, and of course, Louis Tully stealing the show in Ghostbusters and the sequel, Ghostbusters 2. Number 9, we move from a comedian actor. I'm looking for an actress star now. Okay, so she played Tom Cruise's love interest in Top Gun. She played Rachel in Witness and plays a prosecutor, Catherine Murray, co-starring with Jodie Foster, who won the Oscar in The Accused. So I'm looking for the name of an actress, mainly well-known in the 80s. She played Tom Cruise's love interest in Top Gun, played Rachel in Witness, and plays the prosecutor, Catherine Murray, in the film The Accused. Who is she? Also, where is she now? Quite a big star in the 80s. Number 10, last one, last question of tonight. So final one, number 50. Okay, I'm looking for a three-time Oscar nominee. Notable roles include playing Emma Horton in Terms of Endearment. Oh, can't see my own writing. Paula Pokrafsky in An Officer and a Gentleman. And co-starred with Robert Redford and Daryl Hannah in Legal Eagles. Another one who was a big star. Kind of faded from grace a bit, sadly. She's a three-time Oscar nominee. And her roles include Emma Horton in Terms of Endearment, Paula Pokrafsky in An Officer and a Gentleman, and co-starred with Robert Redford and Daryl Hannah in the 80s film Legal Eagles. But who is she? So final question of tonight. Stars, where are they now? How did everyone fare with this round? Anyone quietly confident that they got a good score for this one? It's the last round of tonight, the 13th edition of the quiz. Can't believe we've been going for 13 consecutive weeks. We did take a break and came back. When did we come back? Around about November time for the second stint of the LA Cinema Quiz. Susan asking for number 5. Yeah, no problem. Number 5. Yeah, so I'm looking for the brother of a famous Hollywood actress. He received an Oscar nomination for his role in Runaway Train. He was the Coca-Cola Kid in 1985 and played Paulie in The Pope of Greenwich Village. Who is that actor? Anyone else need any repeating for this round? I'm just going to have a quick sip of drink. Anyone confident on this round to finish off with a good score for tonight? I'll reveal the answers in just a bit. No more film recommendations, but I was going to ask you a little topic of conversation tonight. I'd be interested to hear your answer, your thoughts, your opinions. Anyone quietly confident that they've done well on a final round tonight? Okay, so last week I asked you for this week to come up with any recommendations. And the topic was going to be your favorite YouTube film-related channels. Interestingly, I've had a few conversations with people about YouTube channels the other day. We were saying how interested it is that some people basically become stars through setting up YouTube channels where they get so many subscribers that they're able to make money from it because they get enough views and hits. I think you need something like 5,000 followers to start monetizing. I'm not entirely sure. And lots of hits on your videos. And interestingly, people have become YouTube sensations through this. We saw that through Joe Wicks during the lockdown with his exercise programs, winning numerous awards and getting so many people to take part in his daily exercises. So it's interesting. So I was going to ask any recommendations of channels that you use for film. I was going to suggest 2. I like one that I think has been mentioned before. Josh Gad, who's a comedian actor. He plays the voice of Olaf in the Frozen films. He does one called Reunited Apart, where he takes old films and he reunites the cast and crew members to talk about their experiences of the film and why these films are so endearing to us as cinema audiences. He's done all sorts. He's done The Lord of the Rings, Ghostbusters, Splash, Back to the Future. If you're not seeing them, they're good fun. Big names on them talking. They even do some of the dialogue. And the other one I really like, which is kind of more on film criticism and looking into film editing, is a guy called Cinema Tyler. He's got a brilliant channel. This guy's really got some good knowledge. He takes films, mainly films that are kind of artistic or merited as high caliber films, and he kind of looks at the way they're edited. He looks at their history. So he's taken films like Tarkovsky's Stalker, Kubrick's Clockwork Orange, and he talks about how the filmmakers made the film, and he juxtaposes images and clips. And he's also got Mubi on board. They, I presume, have bought into what he's doing. He's really good. To me, he's the best at doing it. I've seen other people do film reviews and breakdowns, but for me, Cinema Tyler's the best. Anyone else recommend any channels that they go to for information on YouTube? Channels maybe reviewing, it could be interviews with stars, nostalgic trips. Any recommendations from anyone on the odd YouTube channels? What do you think of YouTube? I know I've got friends who tend not to watch terrestrial television or Sky channels. They just simply spend a lot of their time watching stuff on YouTube content. I tend to watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've been watching recently a lot of old tennis matches from back in the day. I like watching the old sports events like cricket, looking back at some of the old stuff, Steffi Graf, some of the old players. Any recommendations on your YouTube channels? Dave saying loves anything about filming and locations. I should give Dave a shout out. In fairness, Dave, interestingly, back in the day, used to meet up with a guy who was based in America. They'd find locations, famous locations for films, and they'd go to those locations and film them and juxtapose the scenes from the film with their own footage. It's really good. The guy Dave worked with was really good at superimposing stuff. I think his name was Hervé. They've done all sorts. They did American Werewolf in London. Have you got a link to the channel that you can post up, Dave? Really good. He did a good one on Clockwork Orange around Thamesmead in London. Really worth checking out. Okay, so we'll reveal the answers. See how you all got on. If anyone's got any recommendations, let me know. Lucy saying, don't really do a lot of YouTube, but the kids love it. She likes the reviewer Mark Commode, obviously from Radio 5 Live with Simon Mayo. Jay Gibbs saying, I do enjoy James Rolfe stuff. I don't know this guy at all. Angry video game nerd. Do like a bit of gaming. Old retro games from the 80s and 90s. Hervatia, yeah, okay. Yeah, they're really good, the location films Dave made. He's done loads of them, went to places in America, showed some at some screening events I used to do back in the day under Cinema in Bristol. Okay, you ready for the answers then, everyone? Let's see how you got on with tonight's quiz. See what your scores are. We'll go with round one, which was Robin Williams, the actor. Tragically died in 2014. Okay, so the film that Williams won Best Supporting Oscar in 1998, it was Good Will Hunting. Good Will Hunting, answer number one. Number 2 was the TV program. I wasn't looking for the program, I was looking for the character. He played the alien Mork in the TV show Mork and Mindy from 1978 to 1982. So Mork, the answer. Number 3, the year that Dead Poets Society was released. It was back in 1989, the acclaimed Peter Weir film. So the year I was looking for, 1989. Terry Gilliam was the director of The Fisher King. So Terry Gilliam is answer number 4. Always think he's pretty underrated Terry Gilliam. I do like a Terry Gilliam film. Number 5 was nice and simple. The character William's voices in Aladdin. It's, of course, the genie. The genie is answer number 5. His co-star in Mrs. Doubtfire is Sally Field, that plays his ex-wife. So Sally Field, answer number 6. Number 7, I asked you the film he co-starred with Robert De Niro, trying to revive a patient from an epidemic with a new drug. It's Awakenings. Highly recommend that film. It's a lovely film. Awakenings with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams. The last film, the last credit by Williams, where he voices Dennis the dog in a Terry Jones comedy with Simon Pegg and Kate Beckinsale. Anyone get this one? It's Absolutely Anything. Absolutely Anything is answer number 8. Number 9, the film I described from 1982. I've heard it's good. I might put this on my list. Is The World According to Garp. The World According to Garp is answer number 9. And the last one was nice and simple. Shelley Duvall plays Olive Oil, but Robin Williams plays the hero Popeye. So Popeye is the answer for number 10. How did everyone get on with your 10 Robin Williams questions? What are the scores on the board for tonight? Let's see how everyone did with the opening round. Hopefully we got some good scores to start off with. 7 for Suzanne. Good start to tonight. Really good score. Bikey Chick saying it's a good film. Does she mean Popeye or? No, 9 for Bikey Chick. Very good. Lucy equals Suzanne with a 7. Mr. Harlequin, 8 on that one, which is very good. So you got some top scores so far for round number 1. What was round number 2? Dave did really well. 10. Good start in the lead so far from round number 1. Let's see how you do with round number 2. What was 2? It was the Oscar winning songs. These were quite tricky. There were some bonus points on offer as well. The World According to Garp. Yeah, I need to see that film. It's on my list. Got some good co-stars in it as well. Okay, so the song I Didn't Have You. Okay, it's by Randy Newman and it features in the film Monsters, Inc. So the song If I Didn't Have You is Randy Newman and it's Monsters, Inc. Number 2, the 1961 film. The Oscar-winning song Moon River is from Breakfast at Tiffany's. And the composers are Henry Mancini and Johnny Mercer. So a point for Henry Mancini, a point for Johnny Mercer, and a third point for Breakfast at Tiffany's, the film. Over the Rainbow's the song. Which film does it feature in? It's The Wizard of Oz. I bet you all got that right. Who sang it? It was Judy Garland. So 1 point for Judy Garland, a second point for The Wizard of Oz. Number 4 was just 1 point on offer. Name the composer who won the Academy Award for the theme from Shaft in 1971. It's Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes, your answer number 4. When You Wish Upon a Star features in which Disney film from 1940? For 1 point, it's Pinocchio. So Pinocchio, answer number 5. Number 6, we had 3 points on offer. So a few bonus points on offer for number 6. Name the songwriting duo who wrote the song Can You Feel the Love Tonight? It's Elton John and Tim Rice. A point for Elton John and a point for Tim Rice. And the film, of course, is Disney's The Lion King. So Elton John, Tim Rice, and The Lion King are your answers for question 6. Number 7, who was the first hip-hop artist to win an Oscar for his song Lose Yourself? And name the film he appears in from 2002. It's Eminem, and the film was called 8 Mile, which I've never seen. I've heard it's a good film. Number 8, which American singer-songwriter won an Oscar for Things Have Changed? Well, it's a song from 2000. It's Bob Dylan. So Bob Dylan's your first answer. And the film it features in is Wonder Boys. So Wonder Boys with Michael Douglas. That's a good film. I recommend. I think Robert Downey Jr. is in it as well. Number 9, I was looking for the American songwriter who won the Academy Award for the song Streets of Philadelphia from the film Philadelphia. It's, of course, is the boss man, Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen is your answer, number 9. And number 10, 2 points on offer. I wasn't looking for the performer of the song My Heart Will Go On from Titanic. I was looking for the 2 composers. They are James Horner and Will Jennings. Tricky one. James Horner I probably would have known, but not Will Jennings. So James Horner for 1 point. And your second point is Will Jennings. Some tricky ones in there, to be honest. Let me know how you fared with your second round of questions, the Oscar-winning songs. And lucky you didn't have me singing them this evening, which was a bonus. How did you get on? What are our scores this evening? As Mr. Harlequin tells us, he's read the book but not seen the film of The World According to Garp. I think that's one I'm going to do maybe next week. Suzanne, a good score of 12. 15 for Bikey Chick, very good. That's some good scores so far. 9 for Dave, which isn't bad. What else do we have? 17 for Mr. Harlequin. A good score for round number 2. That is our highest so far for round 2. Only the last one they didn't get. Lucy Hawkins, not bad, with a 10, which is a good score. Double figures. Number 3 was science fiction, the sci-fi genre. The answer number 1, the film I described from 2018 by Claire Denis and starring Robert Pattinson and Juliette Binoche, is High Life. High Life is answer number 1. It's kind of a bizarre sci-fi film. It's pretty good. Bong Joon-ho is the director who directed Snowpiercer, who won the Academy Award in 2019 for Parasite, which is a brilliant film. The director I was asking for, Bong Joon-ho. Number 3, the 2009 sci-fi film that I described, directed by Neil Blomkamp, was District 9. District 9 is your answer, number 3. Answer number 4 was the Andrei Tarkovsky film that I highly rated during a quiz, during the lockdown. I saw it. And the film is called Stalker. Stalker, the 1979 Tarkovsky sci-fi epic. Tom Cruise is the actor who plays a police detective framed for murder in Minority Report. So Tom Cruise is answer number 5. Number 6, I was looking for the actor who plays Seth Brundle, the eccentric scientist in The Fly. It's Jeff Goldblum. And Gina Davis plays his love interest in the film. I think they ended up marrying, didn't they? Am I right? Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis? So there's your answers. Jeff Goldblum, the actor. Gina Davis, his co-star. The title for the sci-fi remake of 78 starring Donald Sutherland, it started off Invasion of the, and it's Body Snatchers, of course. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, number 7. Number 8, who plays Officer Murphy or RoboCop in Paul Verhoeven's RoboCop? It's Peter Weller. Peter Weller, I put Paul Weller. He was the front man for the Jam, wasn't he, in the Style Council? Peter Weller. It's not Paul Weller. Answer number 8. Number 9, the Fritz Lang masterpiece from 1927. I think Queen used excerpts from it from Radio Gaga, their music video. The film is Metropolis. Metropolis is answer number 9. And the author whose novel was adapted for Stanley Kubrick's science fiction masterpiece 2001 A Space Odyssey is Arthur C. Clarke. The author, Arthur C. Clarke, is your final answer, number 10. How did you get on? Mr. Harlequin said we said Kim Jong-un. Oh, yeah. I'm liking that. It's my highlight of the night, I think. How did everyone get on with this round? Sci-fi. 5. Suzanne got 5. What was number 1? Answer number 1 for sci-fi was... I should memorize these. It's High Life was the 2018 film. So High Life was answer number 1. Bikey Chick did well. Round of applause. And 11 is a good score. Dave not so bad with a 7. And King Jong-un, you get 10 points for that one. No, I'm joking. Mr. Harlequin, a 10. Good score. Okay. What was round number 4? That was cinema, wasn't it? Bit of nostalgia on one of our favourite pastimes, cinemas. Okay. So it's 10 questions. Here are your 10 answers. So it's Warner Cinemas that were the cinema chain in the late 80s, and they were rebranded and bought out by View in 2003. So Warner Cinemas. Number 2, what was it? Pearl and Dean. Oh, that was terrible. Founded in 1953, they control advertising for several cinemas. They do at mine. Pearl and Dean, answer number 2. Number 3, the current 2-for-1 cinema offered on Tuesdays and Wednesdays is Meerkat Movies. You see all the adverts with these meerkats. So it's Meerkat Movies. I feel like doing the impression of the meerkat then, which I do all the time to my kids. And the previous campaign that ended in 2015 is always busy on a Wednesday night because it was Orange Wednesdays. You'd have a code on a phone, you get your 2-for-1 tickets. So 1 point for Meerkat Movies and another point for Orange Wednesdays. Okay, so number 4, which multiplex cinema chain offers the Insider Card for discounted prices and loyalty points? It's the company I work for. It's Showcase Cinemas. Showcase Cinemas. Answer number 4. Number 5, which American ice cream company sells their products at a number of cinema chains? And the flavors include Fish Food, Chunky Monkey, and Cherry Garcia. I bet you've all eaten this. It's Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So Ben & Jerry's is number 5. The name Timothy Richards is associated with the UK cinema industry, but what's his position? Well, he's become today, or in the last few days, head of the British Film Institute, but I was looking for the founder and CEO of View Cinemas. You've probably seen him a lot on the news of late, talking about closure of View Cinemas and will cinemas exist long term. But he's the founder and CEO of View Cinemas. That's Timothy Richards. So for 7, 8, and 9, we played the music clips. Would you like to hear them again before we give you the answers? Would you like to hear them back or no? Could play them again and then give you the answers. The first one, let's go back in time with some nostalgia. Here was the first one, my meerkat impression. Oh, I don't know if I want to do it. Make a fool of myself. So here was number 1. What was this one? Nice. Well, the branding was the first choice. It was the Odeon, the first choice. Get ready for our feature presentation. I wish I could show you the video. It's great, but check it out. So it's Odeon, the first choice. So Odeon Cinemas. What was the next one? Let's have a look. Okay, here was the next one. I was looking for a UK cinema chain in the 1980s and early 1990s that used this ident music. I think you'll all get this one. Fantastic. I think we'll have that again. Why not? I think their ident music was better than their films. It was Canon, the mighty Canon cinemas back in the 80s and 90s was the answer. Love that music, ident. It's fantastic. And here's the last one. This was tricky. They used it as their intro music as part of their cinema titles in the 80s. But who were the cinema operator? Very 80s. A pat on the back if you got this one, but I'm going to play it again. Seeing a late night show this Saturday. I wish there was. It was ABC Cinemas for that one. ABC. And lastly, the famous cinema in London that opened its doors in the 20s in 1920 and it closed in 1993 was the Scala. It's the Scala. It's the last one. Okay, I like that round on cinemas. Yeah, Frogmore Street in Bristol. God, that brings back memories. That was down by the ice rink, wasn't it? I used to love driving past there as a kid. My dad would be in his car, and it sounds so stupid, but seeing those posters lit up on that neon display, I don't know. It was back in those days. It was like before you had your first girlfriend. It was just nostalgia. Sounds so silly, but saw Empire Strikes Back at the ABC. Crikey, what was that? 1980. It's before I was born, Dave. How did everyone like this round? I enjoyed doing this round. Working in cinemas and being in that sort of environment, it kind of brought back a lot of memories. Pretty much all fond memories, not bad ones at all. Lucy, a 4 for that one. for the cinema round. That was round number 4 for tonight. We've got one more round of answers to go and we'll finish up tonight's quiz. Like that round, only a 7. It's not a bad score. And Suzanne, a 6. How did everyone else fare? I like the music ones the most, I think. I'll try and do some more music things like that, I think, in future. Dave did well, really good 9. Good score. Picking up some points there. Okay, what was round number 5? It was the Where Are They Now? Mr. Harlequin, a 7. Was that you or was that Amanda? How many for that one, Rich? Where Are They Now? Round number 5, the penultimate round. Okay, so the actor I described was in Pretty in Pink. He was in Weekend at Bernie's, a mannequin. Where is he now? Andrew McCarthy. Answer number 1, Andrew McCarthy. Number 2, the child actress, is Mara Wilson. Mara Wilson, who's in Matilda. And she plays the young child in Miracle on 34th Street, the remake from 1994. Mara Wilson. Corey Feldman, I reckon Dave got this one. He's in The Goonies. He's in Stand By Me. He's in The Lost Boys and Gremlins. Corey Feldman, is answer number 3. The actress famous in the 90s, who was in the remake of the Thomas Crown Affair. She was in Ransom and plays Lorna Cole in Lethal Weapons 3 and 4. It was Rennie Russo. Rennie Russo is your answer number 4. Eric Roberts, his sister obviously is Julia Roberts, played the Coca-Cola Kid. Wouldn't mind seeing that. It's probably bad, but Runaway Train, he got the Oscar nomination and played Paulie in The Pope of Greenwich Village. So Eric Roberts, answer number 5. Number 6 is Phoebe Cates, who's the wife of Kevin Kline. She's in Gremlins 1 and 2 and co-starred with Rick Mell in Drop Dead Fred. Phoebe Cates, number 6. 7 was a hard one. It's Claudia Wells, who plays Martin McFly's loyal girlfriend, Jennifer Parker, in Back to the Future. So Claudia Wells is your answer. Number 8, the comedian actor was Rick Moranis, who plays Louis Tully in Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Plays the Dark Helmet in Spaceballs. And he's also in Parenthood, plays Nathan. Rick Moranis. Number 8 was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, wasn't he? Little Shop of Horrors, loads of films. Number 9, who plays Tom Cruise's love interest in Top Gun? She's in Witness and plays prosecutor Catherine Murray. In The Accused, it's Kelly McGillis. Kelly McGillis is answer number 9. And the final answer tonight, it was Deborah Winger in Legal Eagles, Officer and a Gentleman, and Terms of Endearment, been Oscar nominated on 3 occasions. So Deborah Winger, your final answer of tonight. Mr. Harlequin got the Scarlet. Well done for the last round. Oh, the meerkat, the impression. Nah, not doing that. I think I haven't even had too many wines of it yet. Not even finished my first one yet. Maybe another time. Maybe another time. Got me all embarrassed. Blushing. 7 for Suzanne, a good score to finish up. Lucy equaling that again with a 7. How did everyone else do? So you've had a 7, Anna. Come on, everyone, all chant together. A 6 for Bikey Chick. We got a 9, Mr. Harlequin. Couple of points deducted though for the banter. 9 points taken off. No, I do it to sometimes my kids. It's, Meerkat Movies, 2 for 1. Cinema tickets, Meerkat Movies. That's terrible. Oh, the story about my mum, that's a silly one. It's not anything interesting. Um, meerkat movies, meerkats. Um, yeah, so okay, so there's a guy who plays the quiz. He's on tonight. I don't know if he's still tuned in, if he's still in the chat window. His name's Jay Gibbs. He's a really good friend of mine. And I'll share this. Basically, we have our phones. Basically, Jay and I, here he is. Jay and I basically have two young children, similar ages. Jay's a busy man. He does 3 jobs. He's self-employed, and he's an employee. He does a valeting job as well, so he's always busy looking after his kids as well. Me, I haven't been working for ages, as you know, but sometimes we just haven't got the time to talk to one another. So we always get on WhatsApp and we send each other messages, like little voice messages that go on anything from 2 minutes up to about 10 minutes, talking about how we're coping with the lockdown, that the kids are driving us mad, that our wives are driving us mad, that we're driving our wives mad and our kids mad, all this kind of stuff. Sorry about this, Jay. And Jay always takes the mickey out of me for always recommending international foreign language films. He says, why can't you blimmin' just watch Mission Impossible like everyone else? Why can't you just watch a popular film on Netflix that people want to watch? Not this Fellini nonsense. So he pulls my leg about that a lot. But my story about, what's he saying? Careful, the wife's listening. Drop myself in it. She won't like the yellow pullover either. So yeah, my story, which is a bit silly, is I started watching a lot of these films, foreign films, got really into them when I was about 16, the old days of video cassette. And I started watching what I would say a lot of the masters of cinema, like Fellini, and I just was really into it. And I tend to watch them on my own or with my dad. He was a bit of a film buff. And I went through a phase where I was watching a lot of French films, like Godard, Truffaut. And my dad was good at speaking French and Spanish. He'd lived in Argentina. My granddad was good with languages. My mum and I were useless. And one night, my mum came in and she'd say, you watching all these French films? Do you pick up the language from watching these French films? You're always watching them. I said, funny enough, mum, I don't even need to do French language for GCSE or A level, because I said, watching all these films, I pretty much can speak it fluently. She went, nowhere. I said, honestly, if you sit down and watch these films with me, you pick up the language, no problem. And she believed me. So she said, come on, give me some spill. And I would just make up all these words in French. They weren't even real words, and put on the old lingo as if I was some French famous actor like Alain Delon. She absolutely bought that I could speak fluent French. And in the end, I'd have to say, Mum, I'm just putting on a French bravado, but I can't even speak the language. She absolutely thought I could. So how to fool people? I fooled my mum easily. Anyway, what scores have we got? Sorry, I'm talking nonsense. So Suzanne, a total of 30. Enjoyed tonight's quiz. Thanks a lot. See you next week. Thank you. Didn't do that bad, Dave. You got a 47. Lucy did quite well with a 36. Eddie Murphy for next week. Yeah, we can do that. Jay Gibbs not telling us a score because he's been kicked out in the car. And I think myself and Jay will be receiving letters from our wife solicitors in the morning. We'll be sleeping out in the yard or something in the back garden. 48 from Bikey Chicks, a really good score. Okay, so some good scores. I did enjoy the cinema round tonight. Would people like to see us back next week for week 14? Believe it or not, if we come back for week 14, anyone got any ideas for rounds, what they'd like to see? The more suggestions, the better. 51, Mr. Harlequin. That is very good indeed. Great quiz as usual. I managed to take part from start to finish. He did indeed. That was Jay Gibbs. Well done, Mr. Harlequin, saying Bikey Chick. Good round tonight. Enjoyed this one. Thanks a lot, Dave. Don't worry, Jed. What's it? Don't worry, James. You won't be getting a letter from the wife's solicitor in the morning. We'll see. War films. I'm not sure we've done war. We may have done. Don't know. We've been doing it so long. Yeah, they're closed for the weekend. Are they open during the lockdown? Yeah, get it on Tuesday. I like that. Yeah, so suggestions for next week. So we've got Eddie Murphy. We've got some war films. I had some suggestions on my phone. What have I got here? Let's have a little look. I've got a whole list of notes. Cillian Murphy, somebody suggested. Robert Redford, Harrison Ford, Stephen King films, documentary, biographical films. We've got Michelle Pfeiffer, box office smashes, supporting actresses. That's a few suggestions. World War One or World War Two or Vietnam films. Adult movies. Well, some have gone mainstream, haven't they? Like Deep Throat and a few others. I don't know if I should name them. Never seen them. Films based on books. Okay, so we got some good suggestions to work with. Thanks a lot, everyone. No, I'd like to thank you tonight for your support and for tuning in every week. There'd be nothing more embarrassing than coming on at 8:30 and nobody even being online to play. So it's always good, consistent numbers. And it's odd because I go back to the videos when they're uploaded in the week and they're getting quite good hits. The last couple, 300 to 400. So I don't know who's watching the films back, but thanks a lot for your support, Paul Newman. But yeah, enjoy the weekend. I'm glad you've enjoyed tonight. I've had a good bit of fun, particularly on the cinema round. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your support. Appreciate it a lot. It's always good fun, and I get good support from you all. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks for taking part, and we'll finish up. So this was week 13 of the quiz. We'll be back next week for week 14, believe it or not. But enjoy good films. Give me some recommendations for next week, and enjoy your weekend. Good night, everyone. Take care. Good night. And that is, as they say, a final wrap. Good night.